Alright, y'all. As many of you may know, Boosie Badass was on the Hot Boxing Mike Tyson podcast the other day. And yeah, it was interesting to say the least. This is the only time I've ever seen Boosie like really humble. You know what I mean? Like really humble and not scared, but just real respectful, because Boosie around the same age as me. You know, he said he was 37, I'm 41, we're a few years apart. So we both grew up in the Tyson era. And here it is, I'm sitting across from one of my heroes growing up, Iron Mike Tyson. And this is where I think the podcast went wrong. And I'm pretty sure Tyson got some criticism over this, and even Boosie got some criticism over this. But here's my thing, y'all. I don't think Tyson was being malicious in the way he came at him. I think his mentality was, I'm an OG checking the young nigga. You know what I'm saying? Because Boosie, he's a lot younger than Mike. And Mike has this thing of being like a big brother, like being a mentor, you know. And I think that's the angle he was coming from. I don't think he was intentionally trying to disrespect, but as a viewer watching it, it looked disrespectful. Like Boosie came in showing him love, dapping him up, man. Like, you know, you my hero, man. I grew up watching, man. I knew everything about you, all your fights and shit. And Mike's like, yeah, sit down, little nigga. Sit down. You don't know shit about life. Sit down. You don't know shit about life. You know, just totally dismissed it. And I think Mike just has a hard time accepting how people really admire him and what he did in the ring. If you listen to Mike talk, Mike will tell you, look, I ain't shit. You know, I wasn't supposed to be shit. You know what I'm saying? And people love me for the stuff that I did, but if they really knew who I was, like I say, like him, I mean, if people really knew who I was, you know, they wouldn't like me. But, you know, they say, oh, champ, you know, you did this and that, whatever, champ, you know, champ. But, I mean, if you really knew the real Mike Tyson, you know, you wouldn't like who I am. I'm a piece of shit. Everything that Tyson asked Boosie, when Boosie would try to answer it, Mike would cut him off and be like, but listen, what do you think about, who are you? What do you think about yourself? There's a time and a place for everything, y'all, all right? So there's a time to get some psychiatric help if you need it. Tyson was almost like a psychologist trying to get inside his head. This is a podcast, man. You know, we watching this shit. We want to see a conversation between Mike and Boosie. You know, what this was a psychologist session. All right, this was on some real deep shit. And Mike is a deep brother by nature, so I know that's just who he is. But just me personally, I don't listen to this for that. You know what I mean? Like, okay, Charlemagne said this is one of the most insightful podcasts that you'll ever hear. And that's his opinion. You know what I'm saying? And if that's what you're looking for, then so be it. I just want to hear Boosie and Mike chop it up. I've seen some hot boxing podcasts where I was like really entertained and then learned some things at the same time. When you had LL on there, him and LL was chopping it up, laughing, shit, having a good time. But I guess it depends on what kind of mood Mike is in that day. You know, sometimes he could probably be jolly and laughing and all that stuff. But then some days he could be real serious and deep. To those out there talking shit, man, I wish that was me and then Mike would have never talked to me like that. Bullshit. All right. From what I heard, I never met the man, but from what I heard, Mike has like Charlie Murphy says, like an aura. All right, he has an aura, and when you're around that aura, you know, you're gonna listen, you're gonna be respectful. All right, Mike is the only one I think that can get away with talking to Boosie like that. I don't think nobody else could have pulled that off. Anybody else would have probably got stomped out, not rolled out, but stomped out. All right, because Boosie is he's that nigga. Everybody know he that nigga. He got a reputation, but because it was Iron Mike, you know, he was cool, he was respectful. But even his man sitting next to him, his man was even looking like, yo, Mike better watch his fucking mouth. You know, that's the look that he had. But like that Debo mind control, okay, Mike talking, I'll be quiet. But when we leave, I'm gonna talk my shit. The part that stuck out to me was when he mentioned, when he was getting on him about talking shit about Dwayne Wade's son. His son. Yeah, the way he came at him, that was definitely disrespectful. I don't care how you cut it now. That was disrespectful. When he asked Boosie, like, well, do you like homosexuals? You know, like, are you gay? Where I come from, and I think most brothers would attest to this, but where I come from, you don't ask another straight black man, you don't ask another brother if he gay or not. Those are fighting words. All right, even if it's on some sincere shit, if you ask me if I'm gay, yo, we throwing hands. I ain't guaranteeing I'm gonna whoop you. We throwing hands, all right? Watch your fucking mouth. That's just the culture. That's just how we are. That's where I come from. You don't ask another black man if he gay, All right. So when he asked Boosie that, I said, damn. The whole thing was kind of cringeworthy. It was, man. It was kind of cringeworthy. He asked him that, and Boosie was cool. He said, look here, I'm straight as an arrow, but look here, I meant what I said, but, I shouldn't have spoken to man child like that, and I agree. I made a video about it myself, talking about how Dwayne Wade was wrong in doing what he did, but like Mike said, who the fuck are we to judge anybody? That's not our child, that's not our situation, so who are we? And I totally agree with that, but I agree 100% with Boosie. Like, nah, that's a little boy, you know what I'm saying? He shouldn't make that decision until he gets a lot older, until he's responsible for himself. Then, okay, if you decide you want to cut your dick off, you cut your dick off. It is what it is. But the way he was checking him, it was cringeworthy. And the thing about the hot boxing podcast, I think that really goes wrong, is that a lot of times Mike makes it about himself. Like, for example, if you watch the Joe Rogan Experience, right? Joe Rogan brings somebody on there, and he's asking questions about them. Like, he's as an audience, we want to know about this person, this guest that you have on. We know about you, all right? We want to know about this guest you have on. And Mike, a lot of times, Mike will ask a question, and when that person answers the question, Mike will take it back to him. So, for example, tell me about yourself. Tell me, who are you? Tell me about yourself. Well, Mike, I grew up in, listen, no. I'm talking about yourself. Who are you? Who are you? I want to know who you are. Well, Mike, I grew up, but, listen, Mike, myself, I come from the gutter. I come from nothing. I come from shit. So that's why I always thought of myself as a piece of shit. I'm a piece of shit. Applause for Boosie for keeping his composure and keeping his cool, because knowing him the way we know him, we don't know him in person, but from what we know of him, nobody else could have got away with talking to Boosie the way Mike Tyson talked to him. But this is Iron Mike, so it is what it is. So anyways, y'all, what are y'all thoughts about the whole podcast? Do you think Mike was out of line? Do you think he was just an OG checking the younger G? Are you a fan of the podcast? Comment freely below. Let me know what you guys think. And if you like and dig this content, hit that like and subscribe, notification bell in the corner. This is Rashad G signing out. I'm gonna see you in the next video, because, I'm just a piece of shit.